Hi guys, I just wanted to give you a little update. We are in Ottawa and we've been here for about 2 weeks, over 2 weeks now. Yeah, the weather today is really nice. It was really beautiful yesterday and today it's still nice because as we mentioned in the previous video, when we arrived it was really still winter here, and it's the first week of May and it's just starting to turn into spring, hopefully. So yeah, we'll see. So we are still staying in this Airbnb in Ottawa on the Quebec side. Yeah, that's the next step. So signing a lease on an apartment and moving over, and also buying furniture because we we literally have nothing. And so the basics. So I don't mind a minimalist arrangement in the apartment, but we need some furniture. Semi really likes it here because there are stairs in this Airbnb, and Semi had never seen stairs before, so he loves to run up and down. And there's been a flood. I'm sure you guys have heard it in the news that Ottawa and some parts of Ottawa have been flooded. Luckily not here, not us, because this is a little elevated where we are here, so we're fine. But the weather hasn't been very nice to people living here, and there has been a lot of rain, and more rain is coming this week. So weather-wise, we'll see, right? It's north from Toronto, so it's going to be colder in the winter and more snow. But for now, the weather, I keep checking Toronto and Ottawa. The weather is similar for now in Toronto and in Ottawa. It's about the same. And the winter, there was more snow here, I know that. Otherwise, the stores are similar. Less of them and probably less like shopping opportunities, but I work out by myself. I hook up the TRX on the door and that's what I do. And we went running yesterday, so these are the things we can do. And also there are lots of bike lanes here, so I'm really hoping to get a pair of bikes. I also used to ride this great road bike in Toronto, but I sold my bike, so I don't have one now, and neither of us has a bike now. So that's that. I'll be back and I'll do I'll take some videos outside, maybe of this neighborhood, but more like if I go downtown Ottawa. I also need to do my driver's license because they don't accept my driver's license here from Hungary, and it's another challenge. It was difficult for me in Hungary and I have to go through it again. So I'm doing some driving practice. For those who don't know about the Canadian license system, I'm going to give you some more information later. It's a 3-tiered system. There is a G1, G2, and a full G license, and they allow you to do different kinds of driving. And so I'm aiming for the G2 or maybe the G now, depending. I probably have a chance to go for the full G soon because of my Hungarian license, and that's very important here because there is not much public transportation in Ottawa. I've taken some buses, and well, compared to Budapest public transport is good, so if you go to some North American cities you realize that it's quite good in Budapest. And here you need a car, unless you just really live downtown core. If you don't live in the downtown core, you need a car and you need to drive. So spring is not really coming. Yesterday I just heard it in the news that this has been the coldest spring in the last 50 years, I guess, yeah. And that in the last 28 days there were only 2 days when the temperature was normal, and when it was like fully dry and no rain. So yeah, it's that. But the tulips are blooming and they are beautiful, and the trees are starting to turn green, and that is also very nice. And we found an apartment, and we start our moving next week. So yeah, and the news of the week is that I passed my G2 test, so I can finally drive in Canada. It is because I had a driver's license from Hungary, but unfortunately, this actually a lot of us faces this when we come to Canada, that not every country has an agreement with Canada, and for people like us, our driver's license is not being converted to a Canadian driver's license automatically. So what I had to do is do the G1 test, which is a written test, and then I could have directly gone to full G test, but I decided to go for the G2, which is a temporary license, and I have to do my G test later on. I could technically do it tomorrow. That is what I was offered to do because of my Hungarian license. But anyway, with the G2 you can drive yourself. I don't know how much you guys know about the Ontario driver's license system. It has 3 categories: G1, G2, and G. G1 is a license which allows you to drive if there is a person with a full G license with you in the car, and there cannot be any other passengers, and you cannot drive on the highway or any high-speed road. So that is for basically practicing basic driving. And then you go for the G2, which is a road test. So you have to go and do a road test, and if you pass the road test, then you are allowed to drive on your own, basically anywhere. But yeah, the number of passengers you can have in the car is limited, and you cannot drink any alcohol, because I also don't know if you guys know, but in Ontario there is a certain amount of alcohol that is tolerated in your blood while driving, which is not the case in Hungary, where I come from. So I got my G2, I passed the road test. If you guys are interested in the requirements of the road test, or the requirements of the driver's license in Ontario, because remember, I always talk about this province, Ontario, because that's the only province I'm familiar with, then let me know in the comments, and I'm going to try and answer your questions. Apart from that, we have been taking care of things which are there are lots of tasks, because starting from like phone, credit cards, and insurance, tenants insurance, driver's insurance, all sorts of things, tax related things that we had to take care of. Again, if you would like to hear about any of these, then you can just let me know. What's going on now is still this. So I'm buying furniture. We have ordered furniture from IKEA, and it's getting delivered next week to our new apartment. We also ordered a bunch of other stuff from Amazon and other places. So we're accumulating things here in this apartment. It looks kind of funny. Two huge monitors and a bunch of other things. Because we both heavily rely on the internet connection and our gear to work. For Nitin, it's been challenging because he's working a lot, 14 hours a day, and we still had to pull this off, me not being able to drive on my own until last Wednesday. What I can already say is there are huge differences in many ways between Hungary and Canada, and one of them is some things are much easier to do, some things are more challenging, and what's way easier is ordering things online. So a lot of places, like even grocery stores, supermarkets, deliver. A lot of them offer free delivery. Costco, for example. So if you have like bulk items, you can just order them from Costco and you don't have to go and pick them up yourself. Also, if you need equipment, gear, a lot of things, you can order from Amazon. Amazon is the shipping is delivery is really efficient. So we just ordered a book. The book didn't arrive, and they immediately shipped another book. So you can order to your own address, or you can order to a post office, so Canada Post, and you pick it up there. Another very different thing from Hungary is that pharmacies are very different here, which I had known, but I'm just sharing it with you. So for example, in Hungary, if we say the word pharmacy, we mean that we go to this place where they primarily just sell medication, primarily. And some of the medication is prescription medication, so you need to go to the doctor, get a prescription, and then you get your medication. And some of it is over the counter, so you just get it yourself. Now that is the same here, but they sell medication almost everywhere. So in the grocery store, in Walmart, and also there are pharmacies, but the pharmacies are drug stores. So they sell not only medication, but personal hygiene items and all sorts of things. So it's just a very different system. First time ever, my Nityan told me that we are going to a pharmacy, and it was a Sunday. I was asking him, hey, wait a minute, are they open on Sunday? And he says, yeah, Shoppers Drug Mart is open every day. And I said, Shoppers Drug Mart, that's a drugstore. It's not a pharmacy. And he said, no, the pharmacy is inside Shoppers Drug Mart. So anyway, Ottawa itself, well, I don't have that much experience yet, except for example, the weather and one other aspect, which is the roads. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the roads are horrible here. There are potholes on, like, hundreds of potholes on every road, and they are humongous, and the car is just rattling the entire time you're driving, which is because the winters are so harsh, and the asphalt or the pavement is broken. But do not buy a good car if you are planning to move here, because it's just not worth it. So the roads are pretty bad, and otherwise the public transport is there isn't much. So there are only buses, and the buses run kind of infrequently. I haven't really been able to really map out the system or even understand it, but it's definitely not like Toronto. So Toronto has the subway, the streetcars, they might not be like the greatest, but they are available. And here it's mostly just the buses that you rely on. So most people drive, and that's why driving has been so important, because basically I'm stuck in the house if I can't drive. What else? People are friendly. They seem to be very friendly, and now that the weather is slowly turning, everyone is outside. So a lot of people cycle, a lot of people run. Good morning, guys. So this is the morning when we got the key to our new apartment, and literally the second time I walk into this apartment. So we're just walking around and checking things. I'm in the new apartment, and it's the first day of delivery, IKEA delivery, and I started to clean. And I just wanted to show you guys this vacuum cleaner we just purchased. And then back in Europe, I had basically this industrial vacuum cleaner, and check this one out. It's like a toy, basically. So I'm dragging it, and it's hopping behind me because it's super light, and all the parts are this thin plastic. So I'm gonna show you, check it out. It is like a toy. It's funny to be back in North America, because these appliances here are not long lasting at all. They are just all disposable. Like, check it out. Check out this plastic. I could break it with my like one hand, and it's tiny anyway. But I knew that. It's like, so that's my foot. It's so tiny, and all the parts like are really, really cheap plastic, and it's not powerful. But again, I knew that. I just wanted to show you guys how much like it's like a toy. Hi guys, I'm just checking in from our new place, and I apologize because I know that this video is going to come out really, really late, so I'm going to make you guys wait. And that is because there was so much to do. There still is, and I actually had no time and no energy to record anything. And finally we are settling in. We both have our workstations, which is amazing. You have no idea what it's like to sit on a proper office chair after sitting on a plastic chair for 6 weeks. And yeah, and I really do appreciate it. So it's the first week of June now, and the weather is changing. Today is really nice. Although I gotta say that this is one of those summers that I have experienced before in Toronto, when it seems like some days are sunny and some days are really cool and kind of rainy, which is not the best, but that's what it's like for now. Our place is spacious, which is very pleasant, and it is in a part of Ottawa that's called Old Ottawa East. It's a residential area. It's nice, relatively quiet, and the canal, the Rideau Canal, is not far. So we bought a pair of bikes and we can go on bike rides. I went for a run today, just really, really nice. So, you know, I can just run by the river the entire time. It's very nice. There are lots of runners here, so that's something I've noticed. Lots of runners, lots of bikers. There are lots of bike lanes in this town or in this city, which is quite surprising. A lot of people bike, and not just bike trails or bike paths, but also bike lanes in the traffic all across town. My impressions of Ottawa these last couple of weeks is that it's a way smaller scale than Toronto. It's not even comparable, and for now I feel like it's very, very nice for people with children, so families, because it's more, I don't know, I cannot really say that it's laid back. I wouldn't really say that, but probably yes. But definitely a slower pace, smaller scale. On the other hand, though, the traffic is heavy because the roads are narrow. I don't think Ottawa is really prepared for the boom. So, you know, the city is going to grow. It is growing. A lot of people are moving here, and at the same time the roads are in bad condition and they are not enough. So during rush hour it's basically impossible to move around. There's a gridlock. And yeah, we kind of made it a rule that if we can avoid it, we don't go out at rush hour. And you also have to know that if you don't own a car, then you either bike or take taxis or Uber, because this is not really like, it's not really a walkable city though, because I mean you can, but do you really want to walk 25 minutes to, you know, to get anything done? Or you have to drive, because in Toronto I got used to the fact that there is the subway. We were actually really close to the subway line, and there are streetcars, and you know they might not be perfect compared to Budapest. Budapest public transportation is amazing, but Toronto does have the subway and does have the streetcars and some of the buses. Here there are only buses, and even then buses are not like, it's not efficient. And very, very few lines. So I think you need a car to move around, especially you know, shopping and such. You can't just like walk. That's the other thing. And otherwise, I do feel like people are a bit more open, maybe a bit friendlier. But coming from Europe, and I come from Central Eastern Europe. In my country, people are more open and they greet you in your building, and it's, you know, compared to that, North America is very different. What else have I experienced? On a general level, everything is available, but shopping, for example, Toronto is way better. So if you need clothing and such, I've been to only one mall here. I don't know how many are there, but I went to the largest one in town. And it's way smaller, and there aren't that many stores. So if that's important for you, it's something to keep in mind. And a lot of stores that are present in Toronto are not present here. My big heartache is Muji. If you know Muji, it's a stationery store primarily, and there's no Muji here. There's no Uniqlo here. Now, don't think that it's not that important to me, but if you think those things are really something that mean a lot to you, like you like shopping and you like a big selection, then you have to keep in mind that it's not that great in Ottawa. If you're a biker, and the summer here is definitely something you will love. They shut down Colonel By Drive on Sundays, and it's just for bikers. It is really, really awesome to just cycle there. So, and this is one of the bike paths. I've been out for hours now, and it's well, the weather is good, so you just gotta really make sure that you use it when it's good, right? Hello guys, it's one of our rare outings when we do anything else but be at home and work. And we came to the National Gallery today because you see it's windy and it's kind of chilly. One of those nice cold summer days.
Be ready for that when you come here.
Yeah, so that's one thing about Ottawa so far, that the summer has been on and off. And so it's good weather for a museum. And there's a Gauguin exhibit here in the National Museum. National Museum or National Gallery? Right?
National
Gallery, sorry. It's the National Gallery of Ottawa. And we are going to check out that exhibit and maybe the general exhibit too, and maybe just walk around a bit in the city, which looks nice now because it's green. It's so much greener, and there's some weird music coming from somewhere.